All right, so just to explain a little bit what's going on. So Friday, after I got off stream, I had a little Fourth of July gathering. I had Brandon over, Tectone came over, Justin Governal came over, just a bunch of my friends. Everyone came over. We had a good time. We shot my dildo cannon in the backyard. We shot fireworks. Brandon brought a full auto Glock 40, which is a 22, and we with that in the backyard. You know, just shooting in my backyard. I had a good time. It was all together a good time. And then got to around 9 o'clock, and they started reporting on how actually devastating the Kerrville floods were. And so me and Brandon were like, F it, let's grab the Starlink and go see if any of the emergency responders need Starlink. And then we grabbed 14 cases of water and a ton of energy drinks, because first responders always love energy drinks, especially in situations like that. Me and Brandon drove down to Kerrville and met up with a bunch of first responders and gave out energy drinks and waters. And I brought a bunch of First Form beef sticks with me, gave a bunch of those out to them. Just drove around, kind of surveyed the area to see where we could best help on Saturday. And then our friend Mike, who has the Sherps, which if you guys have never seen a Sherp before, find it real quick. Our friend Mike was down there with 2 of them for emergency operations. Things are cool as they're also amphibious, so they can go in deep water too, like a boat. Yeah, they're badass. There we go. How much are they? They're pretty expensive. But look what they can go in. Pretty much any terrain, including water. But they're neat as hell. Our friend Mike brought 2 of those down. I already explained this. Yeah, we were just surveying where to put the Sherps in and like how we could help. So we went down there Saturday after a couple hours of sleep, and we met up with the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department. Primarily the point of contact there, the dude in charge. He was Colonel Jeff Holt, and realized that their generator they had there powering the entire fire department was like 15 years old. And so I got them a brand new, super badass generator to power the fire department. The flood rose up to 8 feet in that volunteer fire department. It's the only fire department for this that city of Center Point. Here, I'll show it to you. The come here, motherfucker. Here we go. I posted this. So here's them trying to clean it out. It destroyed every single bit of emergency equipment they had, every single bit of firefighter gear they had. You know, anything they needed to help flood victims, like crowbars, chainsaws, everything got completely washed out of their fire station and downstream. So this is them trying to clean it up. That's the water line. That's 8 feet. They barely got their fire trucks out in time. So see, completely empty. They just set up tables over there to try and feed the firefighters. They had some hot dogs and stuff. But every single bit of their shit got washed out of there. So we met up with Colonel Jeff Holt, me and Brandon did. Got him a generator so they could have power in there, because of course the power is completely out. And then we drove around and we started finding search and rescue guys and handing out energy drinks and beef sticks to them. And then Westford L calls us and he's like, hey, we need to meet back up with Colonel Holt. And so we go meet up with Colonel Holt. And he's like, hey, there's this couple miles of river that we haven't covered yet. We need to go look for bodies. And so me and Brandon and some of Brandon's shop boys and Moody was with me. We all went down onto the riverbank, and for like, it's pretty much all day. It was like 9 hours. We were just walking through mud and like waist deep in mud. Almost grabbed a water moccasin, just searching underneath trees and debris and for bodies. Yeah. So that was super fun. We did that, and then we went back to the fire station and helped out for a little bit. Got home super late at night. And then me and Brandon woke up the next morning, which was yesterday morning, and went and bought more water, energy drinks, snacks and stuff for all the first responders. Tectone came down from Austin. He canceled his stream. He came with us. So we went up there and we handed out energy drinks, saw the search and rescue guys and met with them, talked to the firefighters for a while, and tried to jump into some more of the operations to walk around and look for bodies or whatever anyone needed, because they can't start cleanup operations until they find all the obvious bodies on top of stuff, and then they can start bringing in the equipment and digging shit up. And they're going to be finding bodies for months, because there's it's up to 80 people dead right now, and that's only what they know. There's so many people buried under tons and tons of rubble. And so we were there and we were trying to jump back into some of the operations. But this is a good problem to have. There were so many volunteers there helping that it started hindering emergency response vehicles. So they had to start kicking volunteers out of town. And so As soon as they said we were going to meet up with West Verdell again, and as soon as they said, hey guys, or as soon as West was like, hey, meet up with me, we're going to get you guys a spot in one of the search and rescue teams. As soon as that happened, it started raining again, and they said it's going to flash flood again. So they called off all rescue operations, and then we came home last night. So I got a couple hours of sleep last night, finally. It was gnarly. What started the flood? Okay, so the thing is, as much as the internet wants to blame Greg Abbott and Donald Trump for some reason, the floods happen, Texas doesn't get much rain. On top of that, the majority of the ground in Texas is rock. On top of that, when it rains for a couple days, the water saturates into the soil, and so there's nowhere for the water to go anymore. Therefore, when it rains a lot in Texas, we have flash floods. It's been a thing for all time. There is nothing that the governor or that Donald Trump could have done to prevent a flash flood. These people online, man. Oh, so yeah, so I did hope I don't get into trouble for this, but I still stand by what I said. When I came back from like trudging around in the mud with Brandon and Moody and Brandon Shot Boys all day looking for bodies and just being out there for like 14 hours on Saturday, I jump on Twitter to just post what I saw and like, hey, help this fire department out and shit like that. And that little OTK NMP, he was on there cracking jokes about the little girls that got washed away. And I was tired and stressed at the time, and I may have called him a name and went kind of hard on him for a couple hours there. But I don't feel bad about it, and I don't know, it kind of sucks. Yeah, 20 inches of rain in 4 hours. Yeah, so I was just trying to coordinate charities and coordinate helping people out there. Like me and Brandon were down there for 3 days straight, and I don't know, I was doing my best to help the people down there, and I've donated personally thousands of dollars already, and I've been down there on the ground helping. I'm gonna go down there tomorrow, maybe the rest of the week after my streams, try to help with cleanup. Yeah, the fire department got hit hard though, man. Here's one of the houses we found on the lack of house we found on the riverbank. We were down there. See, the flood waters came up to here, killed the house, and then look, that's across the Guadalupe. Look at the trees just down on their sides. We were finding RVs and trees. Moody is happy as ever. Just my little ball of joy. Not happy, but you know, cheerful. Trying to keep up a good mood. It was nutty. No one could have. I mean, the National Weather Service did come out and several times, and that's another thing. People were like, Donald Trump defunded FEMA and National Weather Service. They were overstaffed at the National Weather Service, and they sent out several warnings there were going to be floods. But the big bad warning, I think from what I read, came out at 1:14 a.m. and that's when everyone was asleep. And then the water rose within like 45 minutes. I think it rose a couple feet. It was nutty. Hold on, let me this video I found of people who saw it a little bit down the river. Let me find it. That's George Strait. We'll talk about that here in a second. George Strait's out there doing the Lord's work. It's a Texan right there. I've posted that twice. Yeah, oops. Oh yeah, watch this. That's how quick this happens, man.
You do?
Those little girls at Camp Mystic woke up and the water was already carrying their cabins away. Yeah, all the messages came out between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Desperado get hit bad. It wasn't bad because the resort is on like a sheer cliff face, probably like 5 stories, 6 stories high, and then there's like all the resort buildings. So there's that sheer drop, and then there's a field where everyone parks their RVs, and then there's another 30-foot drop into the Guadalupe. And so at the Desperado, the water came up to that 30-foot drop, and then it washed out some of the field right there. And it destroyed, poor Matt, it destroyed his grills, and it destroyed, he had a stage up there for bands to play on, destroyed that. So it killed his camp area, but as far as the rest of the ranch goes, it didn't hurt any of the buildings because there's that like 50 to 60 foot little cliff. Oh yeah, this one's nuts though. The time lapse, yeah, I saw the time lapse last week. I'm honestly kind of tired of looking at floods from being out there for the past 3 days. It was, man, there were trees just that big around, just wrapped around other trees. We found a shipping container up in a tree, like a full 24-foot long Connex box, and then there was a body underneath it. But Yeah, it was wild, man. There's, like I said, there was RVs and trees. There were cars like triple stacked on top of each other, cars on top of houses, trailers on top of houses, houses on top. It was on top of cars. It was nuts, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, here it comes.
Should we run?
Yeah, let's not play.
Yeah, let's not play. Solid sage advice there, Deb. Bunker Branding is doing a donation drive. Every little bit helps. This is true. On the way back from Kerrville yesterday, I dropped by, me and Tectone, we went to HEB in Kerrville, got a couple $100 worth of supplies. Just like, we got stuff that people don't really think about: baby wipes, tampons, toothpaste, mouthwash, basic hygiene stuff. And we took it down to Bunker Branding and dropped it all off. And we got the workers at Bunker Branding a bunch of energy drinks. Yeah, but they are doing a drive today and tomorrow. None of my personal friends were affected by the floods, other than Demo having his campsite destroyed, which is, you know, beans compared to what's happening in Kerrville, and Center Point, which is where I spent the whole weekend. Well, I went to Kerrville Friday night when we were driving around with West Ferdell. Dude, it was like rock climbing. The roads were so bad and washed away. But when we were riding around with West Ferdell, we drove by Camp Mystic, and dude, everything is destroyed. It's so nasty. You need to deliver it in person. If you're doing the drive, yeah, they're doing like a physical goods drive at Bunker. Oh, it was nutty. Anyways, yeah, watch how fast this happens. And there's, you know, of course, it's Donald Trump conjuring up water spells or some shit, or Greg Abbott doing a rain dance, because he can do that.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, Petty Officer Ruskin. Yeah, we'll talk about him too. That dude's a stud. Who's the dude that rescued, I think it was 165 people by himself. He's a rescue swimmer, Coast Guard guy. That would be cool to have him on unsub. Let me text Eli about that right now.
Oh, there it goes. Oh.
See how quick that happened?
Taking over the bridge. Oh, here it's coming.
Hey, thanks, Killer. I appreciate you, man. Look how fast it's coming at the people.
Oh, it's coming this way.
Yep.
It's
Yes,
coming this way.
because that is a flash flood.
It's coming. Look, it's all wet. It's all water all up in there.
All right, there's a little bit of dad joke humor to get out of this. That place is called Leaky. MagicCon
Come on,
in
buddy.
Atlanta? I don't know. If, you know, I've been wanting to get back into Magic. I know Tectone, it's funny, Tectone, when Tectone came down for the 4th of July to hang out with us, him and Clean and two of their buddies, his girlfriend and then one of his buddies, they all started he brought his Magic deck so they could all play Commanders. So if Tectone or Meat Canyon goes to the MagicCon, then I'll come. Hopefully you mean like MTG and not like pulling rabbits out of your hat. Dude with ATV is out, dude. He just straight up left the woman and child behind. Peace. They recorded 20 to 30 foot waves down the river. Oh yeah, man. In some places it got higher than that. It was nuts.
You see it coming?
Bring a lot of deodorant if you're going to MagicCon. I remember, where did I go? I went to one, I think it was E3 back when they still existed a couple years ago. They had signs up that said, please use, it was just like, please use deodorant. Looks like the 2011 Japanese tsunami just in a riverbed. Pretty much. It was nuts. People were just waking up and there was water in their house. But sorry, it's the government's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. I'm getting on by a couple of little retards online because they're like, well, you said it was Gavin Newsom's fault because of the California wildfires. But yeah, improper forestry management and fire hydrants that don't have water in them, that's the government. That contributes to wildfire spreading. As far as dirt being too saturated with water so the water can't go anywhere, I don't think that's the government's fault. Trump casts a spell. Actually, I replied with that. I did a little chat GPT image generation. I gotta show you the image I generated. There we go. Rosie O'Donnell blames the Texas flooding tragedy on Trump. Says we should start seeing disasters like this every day. These are the results that we're going to start seeing on a daily basis because of him. And then I made this. Oh no, come back. Yeah, so the thing about me, sorry, I'm tired, guys. Like I said, I probably slept like 6 hours the past 3 days. Been in, you know, from being in Kerrville and Center Point all weekend. I know I need to frame that. I made that on Chat GPT. Oh, the thing about flash floods is that people don't normally drown. 90% of the people are beat to death by debris, because you got to think it's tons and tons and tons of cars and rocks and trees and whatever debris, just rolling people up in it and beating them to death and crushing them to death. It's a bad way to go. Yeah, and then encased in mud to suffocate after that. Let me find. Oh yeah, this is a crazy one right here. You guys see this one yet? This isn't camp. This isn't Camp Mystic where all the little girls disappeared. I think this is a Boy Scout camp up the road, or the Eagle Scout camp. But look, this is literally what people were waking up to, because the floods happened between. I think it started like the big water started at 4 a.m. but it was after 1 a.m. it started flooding. Within 45 minutes, it was just feet of water and debris. Well, look, here's the Eagle Scout cabin on the Guadalupe. Look, there's fucking teenagers and kids in it. Yeah, no one had time to evacuate. They were warned, but the warning came at 1 a.m. But no, it's Greg Abbott and the president's fault. Oh, that's cool. No. Oh, is Austin affected by this? I wish. No, that's a bad joke. I don't think Austin got hit with anything. Does Guadalupe go through Austin? I know there's that river everyone swims in, but is that the Guadalupe? Colorado River? No, I don't think. Huh. Is that the one everyone swims in there? Yeah, I guess that's the one everyone swims in. Is this the worst flood they ever had along those rivers? I think they had one in 1987 that was just as bad. The year I was born. 1987. Actually, we were looking at action movies last week. Yeah, there we go. This happened before. I don't believe it's a global warming thing. Yeah, look, 1987 Guadalupe. Well, you can't see here. 1987 Guadalupe River flood. Let's see about this. Is that 87? Yeah, same thing happened. Yeah, in 87. I saw the camp director for Camp Mystic was found. Yeah, that person died also. All these retarded people online saying that this is the government's fault and these are certain politicians' fault are getting fired from their jobs. And there's Abbott. Wes Verdell was he was saying he was up there talking to him at his press conference. So yeah, look, it has happened before. Camp director was trying to save people. Hey, hi everyone, what's up? If you're just jumping in, we were talking about the flood. So about the flood, I was there a couple hours after it happened. Me and old Brandon. 2002 was the worst. Oh, yeah, they had one in 2002 also. Yeah, I've only been living in Texas for like 6 years. Definitely the worst I've seen. Hey, you might have crossed that bridge. We drove by there on Friday night, 4th of July. Brutal. Texas resident describes shocking impact of flash flooding. Who is this Texas resident? They wanted me to be on here with Brandon, but they wanted us on at 4 this morning and to be on the same camera, and I wasn't going to drive over to Brandon's house at 4 in the morning. So I just sent him my videos and was like, here you go.
Who has been on the ground in Texas assisting with these rescue efforts. Brandon, thank you for joining us. The images are shocking, but you are seeing this with your own eyes. So can you describe the level of devastation that you're witnessing first?
Yeah, they wanted us on at 4 a.m. so they could play it for their morning broadcast. I wasn't getting up at 4 a.m.
Hand?
Yes, ma'am. So we first went up the night of the 4th just to kind of get a feel for the situation. It's probably 30 minutes away from where we are. So these are our neighbors. These are people that we know in the community. And it was shocking to see. There's cars and trees. It's hard to believe just how violent the water is. I've seen floods before. I've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, the amount of force behind.
I know, he's so professional.
Rushing water. It's breaking trees like toothpicks. It's got Conex containers up in trees. It's kind of insane, the devastation.
41 people, Brandon, are still missing, including those 10 campers. Is this still a rescue mission in your eyes? Is there still a chance?
Well, you always want to try to keep hope alive, especially there are people right now that are watching that are still missing loved ones. So you definitely still want to keep the idea that these people are savable.
There's that time lapse.
We found one yesterday. I was told that there was a rescue of someone who has survived yesterday, but at this point, I think it's mostly being treated as a recovery operation, unfortunately.
Brandon, tell us more about the rescue that you witnessed yesterday. What were the circumstances and details surrounding their rescue?
Well, there was one that went pretty viral of a woman that was stuck in a tree. She was up in a tree, maybe 30 feet in the air, that they were finally able to get to. A woman in her mid-20s, which was awesome to see. There's a couple of stories of miraculous recoveries like that, but just with the violence of the water, you're finding people maybe 20, 30 miles from where they were picked up.
Wow, and that is why you should always keep hope alive. In your estimation, and maybe you've thought about this, I know you've been working with first responders and a fire department that has been just absolutely decimated by this flood, and I want to talk to you about that in a little bit. But do you think that there could have been anything to have better prepared people for something like this? Maybe
Yeah, Matt's ranch is on the Guadalupe River. The most damage that he had, it wiped out his campsite. Didn't hurt anyone.
outdoor warning siren
We
like
were
those?
we were supposed to be there. I was gonna have my 4th of July celebration where all this got wiped out during the flash floods. And that morning I was like, you know what? It's raining. Let's not go out there. And then a couple hours later, they started talking about there's 80 people missing on the Guadalupe. So I'm glad me and my friends didn't go out there to Matt's place and have our 4th of July celebration.
Used in tornado-prone areas of Texas come to mind?
There's definitely going to be a lot of analysis of this afterward. This was a very tricky case, though, because a lot of this stuff happened in the middle of the night. So it's hard to get the word out when everyone's asleep, especially when in certain areas like around Hunt, I know that there was massive power loss. So all of these things can just aid to the perfect storm.
Tell us about that fire department that you've been honing in on and trying to help out.
Absolutely. So a big staging area, especially early on, was the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department. They were completely underwater. It was pretty high.
So this is the Venmo that's in the title of this. If you guys want to donate anything to them, he's about to tell what happened if you missed out on that.
Up on the riverbank as well. But they even have a line inside the fire department where you can see the water was up to 8 feet. They lost a lot of their essential
Oh my
life-saving
God, it's my
gear
name on the TV.
and, a lot of their equipment was trashed, but within 24 hours, they had that fire station back up and running as far as being a base of operations. The guys on the ground there have been fantastic to work with. So we're trying to do what we can to work with first responders, get them energy drinks, help with recovery efforts, basically anything we can do to try to help this go smoother.
Well, when disaster strikes like this, you know, you have state, local, federal all coming in at once, along with charities and outside organizations rather. Do these rescue efforts feel organized to you? There's
always going to be some issues when it comes to interagency operations. That was the #1 complaint that we heard from first responders early on, is that communications were questionable at best, and especially interagency communications. But
Dude, all the first responders we met up with on the night of the 4th of July, none of their radios worked because the power was down, everything was just down. And so they handed out these little Motorola. I mean, they were top of the line, waterproof, touch screen, these little Motorola radios. I handed them out to all the first responders there. Didn't work. No one could figure out how to use it. And then, like, I was there, and one of the cops handed me it, and he was like, "Do you know how this thing works? Because I can't get anyone on it." And so we were sitting there just trying to figure out how he could talk to any of the other cops for like 30 minutes, sitting next to this destroyed store and these destroyed homes, trying to figure out how the cops could talk to each other. And we're like, "Hey, dude, where's like the base camp? Where's the base of operations for all this?" And the cop and one of the fire chiefs in Hunt was right there with us. And both of them, the cop and the fire chief, they were like, "We have no idea where they staged like the point of operations for this. No clue." And then we talked to some more cops, and they're like, "Yeah, they just handed us these Motorola touch screens, and we can't talk to anyone. The best we can do is text and hope our text goes through because cell service is down too." And then those cops were like, "We don't know where base camp is. We have no idea. We're just kind of driving around blindly seeing if anyone needs help." It was wild, man. The 4th of July night. Every first responder should have Starlink. So I brought one Starlink, and that's why I was trying to find the base camp, just so I could put one Starlink down and they could have some kind of communication. And I got to talking to Jesus, what's his name? Got to talking to old dude on Twitter. One second. Hold on, we'll finish this Brandon video here in a second. Is it Colin? I should darn it. Nick Sorter. I got to talking to Nick Sorter off of Twitter, and he got in contact with SpaceX and got them to install a Starlink onto every single first responder vehicle in Kerrville. So we finally got them some internet or some way to communicate. We're simple UHF. That's the thing. Mike, the guy that had the 2 Sherps that were doing rescue, he had a little $15 UHF radio in his truck he bought off Amazon, and he was picking up all sorts of chatter on that from so far away. Just, fucking keep it simple, stupid, man. Yeah, I should have brought my drone. A couple of my friends had thermal drones that they hunt with, like hunt hogs with and stuff. They brought them down. But, kind of by the time a lot of people got there, thermal wasn't useful because the bodies were already cold. They're still finding bodies today. I've been texting some people. They're going to be finding them for months, man, because there was tons and tons of debris just burying everything, including people. Dude, we found one of the bodies we found. It was an animal. There was a deer, and it was upside down in the mud, and it was buried up to where you could see its stomach and its 4 legs sticking up. And then there were fish like buried head down and their tails were sticking out of the mud. How many bodies got buried in mud? Tons. What the news isn't really saying is that there were 300 to 400 people on the banks of Kerrville on the river who were out of town. And so there could still be like over 100 people missing that they don't know about, because it's easy to say, well, little Susie, who's from Kerrville, is at this summer camp. She's unaccounted for. So that adds, hey, there's one person unaccounted for. There's so many people from all over the country and probably some people from other countries who were visiting there for the 4th of July weekend for a vacation. They don't really know how many people are really missing. It's buried under tons and tons of rubble down the Guadalupe for like 30 miles. All the first responders we met, though, were trying to keep a positive attitude about it. I have a link for donations. So the fire department that we were just talking about, the Center Point Fire Department, which is where we hung out all weekend mostly, they need help. And that is their Venmo in my title. Make sure it's that exact Venmo, because they're these pieces of shit, dude. Let me show you real quick. Look at this shit. I posted that, like, hey, here's where the Center Point Fire Department that lost all their emergency equipment. It's the base of operations for search and rescue in Center Point, and they're also helping with all the Kerrville stuff. They lost every single piece of emergency equipment they had in the storm, and they are not federally funded. They are donation funded because it's a volunteer fire department. They run a couple drives a year just to fund the volunteer fire department. They lost everything. And look, as soon as I put that up, it's CPV FDTX. That's it. As soon as I put that up, look at this shit, man. The scammers started putting up variations and even the picture of the Center Point Fire Department up, so people would, of course, like mistake it and donate to them. Oh God, these people deserve to go in the wood chipper. The copper, yeah, right. Yeah, that would be awesome if FBI investigated this. Got these people for fraud. Kid, you can donate it or I'll donate it. I'll donate it if you donate it to me. Because I'm trying to figure out the best way. I'm talking to the colonel in charge there. I was going to donate $10,000 to them to help out with their efforts, because they're still down there looking for bodies today. Hey, thanks for the stuff. Yeah. Oh, Twitter is such a negative place the past 24 hours. I can't talk. I attributed to that negativity on Saturday night. I was a little tired after all we went through trying to help people and find victims. Lashed out. I'm not gonna apologize though. I said what I said. Let's see. I was gonna show you guys. George Strait is a stud, as always, as Texas faced devastating flood disaster that caused heavy damage that claimed at least 51 lives. It's up to 80 now. A legendary name in country music managed to warm people's hearts. George Strait, the man himself, a man known for his private, quiet demeanor, surprised everyone by donating $3.5 million to support the victims and the families of those still missing in this horrific flood. He turned up and joined the volunteer crew delivering meals and met with survivors. Relief workers distributed supplies to local leaders. Thanks Strait for his generosity. Strait joined a volunteer crew delivering meals and waters to displaced family. Eyewitness said he took time to speak with survivors, listen to their stories, and even held a small child who had just been reunited with their parents. Later that evening, Strait met privately with several family members who had lost children in the flood. According to those present, he promised to personally... Hey, thanks for the donation. I'm going to give that right to the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department. According to those present, he promised he personally cover the funeral costs for every single child victim and to establish a scholarship fund in their memory, ensuring their names would never be forgotten. God damn, George Strait is such a good dude. HEB sent a convoy of volunteers. Yeah, I saw Matt. I think Matt posted something about that. He went down there. to help out yesterday and today. Okay, it's not on here. Yeah, he took a picture of the convoys and put it on, I think it was Instagram. Brandon, there we go. There we go. He hit his 4 million. Hell yeah. That's awesome. They still need volunteers. Yesterday it was so saturated with volunteers they were telling people to go away because it was hindering emergency operations. I know though yesterday though was the last day that they were doing rescue operations and looking for bodies because they had to find all the bodies on top of the ship before they start digging. And so they're starting cleanup today. So they might need volunteers for cleanup. From what I understand, they probably do. Let me hit up Colonel Holt, the leader in charge of the Centerpoint Volunteer Fire Department. I'll hit him up real quick. I hit him up. I'll let you guys know. That's good. You have chainsaws? He told me yesterday, he was like, hey, do you have anyone with excavators with grapples on them? It's like, I'll see.
Please donate to the firefighters for me.
Yeah,
Venmo is not available in my country.
Oh yeah, I got you. Thanks so much. Oh, finish Brandon's interview. Yeah, let's finish that. Thank you, mostly. Forgot.
It strikes me that this is something that wasn't massively rehearsed. So you're always going to have those sort of complications. And it begs the question as to whether or not maybe it should be.
Is there anything else that's needed right now?
Right now, I think we have, which was really nice to see, an outpouring of support of people who want to come physically. I think the current word is to just keep back for
Not
now.
a ton, but I hope it
we
helps
actually
to
have an
those in need.
overwhelming swell of volunteers
Appreciate your
to where it's
effort.
actually becoming an issue getting emergency response vehicles in and out of areas quickly. The biggest thing over the coming days is going to be financial support, resources, things like that to get money to where it needs to go. I think the one that we're telling people now, that you always have to be careful with this stuff because there's always people that pop up and you don't really know if the money is getting where it needs to go. The one we're told is pretty safe right now is communityfoundation.net. That's where we're trying to push people to now.
Brandon, thank you for joining us and doing all you can to help your fellow Texas residents.
Thank you guys so much. And realistically, we're just the volunteers. We get to go home and sleep in our own beds at the end of the night. There's a lot of first responders out here who don't get to do that. So those guys are the ones we need to lift up.
Good point. Brandon, thank you.
Thank you.
And you can join Fox's support of the recovery efforts following these devastating floods.
Like I was saying, he got up at 4 to do that, and they wanted me to do it, but I'm it's like, no, I'm not driving to Brandon's at 4 in the morning. I told him, I'll let you handle it, buddy. You're more well-spoken than me. I'm just going to get angry at people. The vector is sexy, I know.
That's by going to go.fox/TX flood relief. Your donations will support the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country's relief.
In the fight like this, I mean, the amount of force behind.
Yeah, I think he's got his VSS.
And rushing water. It's breaking trees like toothpicks. It's got of some.
Yeah. Damn it, why does it do that? Oh, there we go. Stop. No. Damn it. No. All right. If you pause it, it turns blurry and goes into the corner. That's lame. Oh, we were gone. We knew we were going to be gone for a while, but not like 14 hours on Saturday helping out. And so the dogs were left here, and thank God Clean lives nearby, so we had Clean come and let the dogs out, but we were a little bit too late. Doug left like 3 gigantic piles of in my office, and now, shut up, Thunder. And now that Doug had already cleaned it up, it smells way better in here. Now that Doug has his stink in here and he can smell it, he came in here and last night right after I let him out, and I guess he thinks this is his personal toilet now. So I'm a little irritated with Doug.